Hello, everyone. How y'all doing? This is Quinton Collins with the. Blah. Hello, everyone. How y'all doing? This is Quinton Collins with the Coach's Corner, and today this is episode 2, and I have a very special guest for y'all. He's a very talented young man. Just talking with him, he has his head on his shoulders. Very bright. Knows what he wants to do. I'll let him introduce himself, and then we'll get started.
Yes, so I'm Carson Walker. I'm a sophomore at Russellville High School.
Yes, sir. Awesome. Well, welcome to the show. I'm glad you were able to come on.
Thank you.
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was pretty good.
Okay. Okay. Did you eat a lot?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. What's your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Oh gosh. I think main dish just ham.
Ham.
Ham. And
Okay.
mashed potatoes.
Okay. Do you like any sweets?
Oh yeah. I don't know. There's a lot out there. I had some good banana pudding this week.
Okay. My mom, she makes wonderful banana pudding. Mom, thank you for the banana pudding. There are certain things I don't eat, but when my mom makes a banana pudding, I throw everything to the side and I smash some banana pudding
Absolutely,
for sure.
absolutely.
Definitely. All right, man. So you've introduced yourself. What is one word that your teammates would describe you as?
Oof, I don't know. I don't know. I would think.
And
I would say maybe motivated.
Motivated. Okay, definitely. And that's good. That's good to be. So how did you get started? Do you play any other sports? I know. What sports do you play?
So my primary sports right now is primarily cross country and track,
Okay.
and then on the side I do golf and soccer for
Okay.
high school also.
Okay.
But really, the start for me when it came to running
Right.
was my parents both ran at D2 colleges.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
that's running's kind of always been around our household.
Right.
My mom still runs to this day. We
Okay.
still go run together in the neighborhood sometimes.
Nice.
But really, it's just, they left it open to me, but there was, we had a trail behind our house
Right.
that over the summer when I was little, my mom would go run through there and I'd just go run beside her.
Right.
Just as a little fun thing.
Right.
But whenever they had like the local 5Ks or the
Right.
miles, like at our elementary school or something,
Okay.
it was always just me like wanting to go out there and beat people.
Right.
I don't know. That was
Right.
just, I wanted to go
Right.
run and beat them. I don't
So what's your 5K time right now?
know. My best 5K time was at Chili Pepper, 16:18.
Okay. I've been running myself. I've gotten into running this year. And you said it was what, 16?
16:18.
Okay. Yeah. I'm highly competitive. I'm going to try to throw that number out of my head so I don't try to go out there and try to kill myself. But yeah, my oldest son, he's also, been running and, he's super fast. I ran with him over the break and, we ran just a short 2 miles and trying to keep up with him, I thought I was going to die. But, my fastest 5K is probably like a 24, but I'm trying to, I'm going to break under 20,
Yeah.
that manifestation talk, that no, you're going to do it talk, which I'm sure, you have just by meeting you, just talking things into existence and not having that self-doubt not having any self-doubt. That's always a good thing. So what inspires you to keep working hard every day?
I think first and foremost, like I was thinking about praying about last night. Like the number one thing with anything that I want to do is just to use my platform to be able to raise up Jesus Christ. Like
Yes, sir.
He's my Lord and Savior, and like He's given me this ability
Yes,
to be
sir.
able to lift His name up.
Yes, sir.
That's my primary motivation with anything. Is like
That's
instead
great.
of having Him at the head of everything, I think He should be at the center of it.
Yes,
So
sir.
that should be the message.
Yes, sir.
And then I think just from I think my family, like it's always encouraging to see them on the sideline, on the side of a track, like during a race.
Yes.
Sometimes it's always been a joke. Like I can't hear them sometimes just
Right.
because I'm in the moment, and
Right.
they're like,
Right.
"Can you hear me?" And I really don't sometimes.
Yes.
But I think, and then just I just get inspired by just seeing other people. I mean, there's been a lot of a big spike in times and competition this
Right.
past couple of years, like in
Right.
the high school level. And so I think it's just natural for everybody to want to get better at what they're
Right.
doing, just to be the next guy.
Right. Nice. That's great. That's great. You were talking about your mom and that, and them asking you, do you hear them? Like, are they yellers?
My dad,
Yeah.
yeah, and my mom, she yells, but it's more of an encouragement.
Right.
My dad,
Definitely. Yeah.
my dad's
Definitely.
usually the
Definitely.
one that's
Yeah.
he's gonna be yelling.
Yeah. Not, yelling mean like, come on, let's go type of yelling. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an encouragement. Sometimes it can
Oh, yeah.
get a little crazy.
Oh, yeah.
But it's I think, but it's in the moment. Sometimes I can't even really tell
Right.
because I'm just out
Right.
of it, or I'm just defeated. I can hear everything
Right.
they say.
Yes, that's very true. What you said that, and it made me think of my mom and my aunt. They were yellers. I played basketball, so it was like if we hit a shot or if we did something wrong, we would hear them. So it wasn't a "Did you hear me?" It was like, "Yeah, we hear you."
Now I will say, like in soccer, like when it gets onto the field, like
Yeah.
I'm not the one that's afraid to yell at somebody,
Right.
and it's just
Right.
like soccer is just a different thing. Like
Yes,
I can
sir.
hear, like it's fun whenever people are yelling and stuff
Right.
to me. It just gets my blood pumping.
Yes, yes.
But whenever I get to the golf course, it's like it's complete tone difference. So
That's great. That's great. Yeah, because you do got to shut it off, and have it's just you out there. Pretty much. This things that you do are pretty much you out there. Besides soccer, cross country.
now
and
I will
golf.
say I'm not a good golfer.
You're
It's-
not?
I'm
Okay.
I enjoy being on the team so much,
Right.
and they've created a great program there,
Right.
and just to, like as me being a multi-sport athlete, they make it really
Right.
they're really diplomatic whenever it comes to
Yes.
colliding sports.
Yes.
But I just really enjoy just the sport. It's really relaxing for me.
Right.
Because the other two sports of like running and soccer are so
Yes.
much pounding on your body and so
Yes.
much like mental grinding.
Yes, sir. So, who is the cross country coach out there?
John Frazier, Coach John Frazier
Okay.
is the head coach, and then our associate coach or assistant coach,
Okay.
if you will, is Brian Strassheim.
Okay. And who is the golf coach out there?
Head coach Mickey Duval.
Okay.
And I love Coach Duval. He's
Shout
a
out
great
to
guy.
Mickey Duval,
Yes, sir.
Cyclone Booth,
And then,
for all he does, definitely.
Yeah, and then our assistant coach, he's just a volunteer coach. He
Okay.
comes out, Roy McSpadden. He's
Okay.
a lot of fun. Love
Nice,
that guy.
nice. And the soccer coach, Coach Fuller.
Yes,
Shout out to Coach Fuller. I don't know him personally. I just, know him. I think his twin boys are in my youngest son grade. But I really liked him. One day I was leaving the gym and I seen him running with the team. And I was like, that makes sense of why they're winning all these championships. If athletes see their coach doing it, it's like, well, I'm definitely gonna ride with him. That's that type of feeling, and he does. He instills that in them, and plus I'm sure he pushes y'all to y'all's best. So, I've always.
Granted, this is my first year on the team.
Okay.
For soccer, I just made the team.
Okay.
This past week.
Okay.
But I mean, I've played around him during club, and
Right.
being around him, he just knows so much about
Right.
the game and so much
Right.
knowledge, and he definitely will yell at you
Oh,
sometimes.
right.
But it's not just a go harder kind of yell.
Right.
It's like, I'm gonna teach you how to play the game
Yes.
and how to understand it, so then you
Yes.
can make it for yourself.
Yes,
and
sir.
Understand it for yourself.
Yep. Very true. Very true. So you said your mom got you into running. Was there anything else that got you into running?
Well, a lot of credit went to my mom, but my dad also. Like both my parents, they both. It's been funny because my mom she got on scholarship to go to Oklahoma Baptist.
Okay.
That's where, and then my dad, he walked on and earned a scholarship
Okay.
there, and so, but both of them have big passions for the sport.
Right.
My mom's been able to somehow do it for so long.
Right.
But my dad also, I think there's credit to both of them.
Definitely,
Just 'cause
definitely.
in their own ways. I mean, my dad, he's, I I don't know what he's a nerd when it comes to running.
Right.
He just like
Okay.
he reads so many books and
Okay.
just like I don't
That's
know. He
what's up.
does. He helps with my training a lot.
Right.
Just when it comes to making plans and stuff.
Right.
My mom's more just she's the encouragement and
Right.
the net whenever I need just help and comfort.
Definitely.
Like from her, she's just
Yes,
always been
sir.
there. So.
Does one or the other say, "Oh, you get your running skills from me"? Does anyone say that, or is it pretty equally yoked?
I mean, it's definitely been a joke.
Right.
Just like between amongst the family, I guess.
Right. Right.
Because neither of their parents ran.
Right.
It's just kind of, they were kind of, but I know that my mom, she was, for a while, she held records at the high school for
Okay.
the women's indoor track.
Okay.
But my dad, my mom's been more oriented to the longer stuff. And
Right.
she loves doing the half marathons.
Right.
My dad, he's like, I can't stand doing those.
Right.
I love my 800s and
Right.
miles, and that's
Right.
about as far as I'll go.
No
And
doubt.
So, I definitely mentally feel like I can relate to the mile and the 800. I love
Right.
the shorter races.
Right.
The 5K for me is a grind.
Right.
But then but I do know like there was definitely something for my mom because she also was a very strong runner,
Right.
so.
Awesome. So walk us through a typical training day for you on and off the field. Like, so, we'll just say what sport are you in right now?
Right now I'm in off season.
You're in off season?
Yeah, so I was planning to go to a meet in Alabama, North Alabama. It was Running Lane in Huntsville.
Okay.
And sponsored by New Balance, and they that meet is like one of the bigger meets out there. So for Arkansas at least, it changes because the northern states have to end earlier
Right.
and have a longer gap.
Right.
The southern states, they'll usually go later because it takes so long to get
Right.
so cool here.
Right.
But I was training for that meet,
Mm-hmm.
and I had recently competed 3 weeks ago, something like that.
Right.
In the Arkansas-Oklahoma All-Star meet.
Okay.
Where they take the top finishers from the different classifications of Arkansas.
Yep.
And the different ones from Oklahoma, and they form two teams and race them against each other.
Okay.
And so I got done training with that, and I trained for about a week, and I made the soccer team. And so now so then there was this cloud of, oh shoot, I've got to train for soccer, and then I also got to train for this meet coming up without getting hurt.
Right.
And so we finally just said, like, I'm going to take off running. Like, that meet out in Alabama was just, it was going to be for fun. I mean,
Right.
The hope was to go break 16 there.
Okay.
I still really wish I got the chance,
Right.
but I also know that having this break has been like really important to rest for my body.
Yes, sir. So what part of cross country are you most proud of?
I think looking back, it was just, I think it was the team aspect of, we lost to really good leaders in the group. So when you met with Jaden,
Mm-hmm.
He mentioned a guy who committed to Missouri. That was River Hardman.
Yep.
Shout out.
Yep.
He was a really good leader for the team and
Okay.
brought up a huge senior class for the cross country team.
Right.
And but then after that, he had to pass the torch on to the next guy. And
Right.
shout out to Paul Rivera, great guy.
What up, Paul Rivera, out there in Florida?
Yes, sir. And he's actually in town this week.
Okay. Okay.
I gotta see my boy.
Right. No doubt. No doubt.
He got the torch passed to him, and
Right.
it was and he led really well last year.
Right.
But then this year and he was both of those guys were top guy, and then this year we had a good senior class, but the playing field was so level out because we had a junior who was in the conversation for our top guy.
Right.
And we had me in there, and then we also had our seniors in there.
Right.
And so it was it was kind of hard because we didn't know like where did the leadership lie, because there were so many different ranks, if you will.
Yes. Yes.
But eventually it turned out to be just more team oriented
Right.
thing because
No
we
doubt.
all kind of carried each other along. It was a struggle this year.
Right.
It was definitely, it's a rebuilding season.
Right.
But I think one of the proudest things is just how we kind of stuck through it and kind
Right.
of got better with the season. Because at the beginning of the season, I know a lot of guys, like even myself, were getting down about it.
Right.
But as the season progressed, we really pulled it together as a team.
Nice. That's awesome. What's one running skill that you're really focused on improving this off season?
I think really just recovering. First of all, just
Right.
cross country season is such a grind.
Right.
A lot of weeks, like for like a 5 week span, we had a meet every weekend. So we had 5 meets in 5 weeks, and that is just a grind.
Right.
But now I think really one thing I struggled with through that was the mental part of it. And in the races, over a 5K distance, it's such a long distance, but
Right.
it's such a grind because on a track, I mean, I love doing track,
Right.
and it's just circles, and it's the cat and mouse game for 4 laps, 2 laps, whatever it is. In cross country, there's no laps. It's
Right.
just like you and the finish line
Yes.
for over 3 miles.
Yes.
And so that grind mentally, and for me being a sophomore and competing with seniors who, like in our 5A division, we had a guy who was going after the state course record this year, and he's committed to U of A this year.
Okay.
And he's one of the best. He's in the top 25 in the country.
Okay.
And him pulling that next group along, that follow pack, and then me trying to stay with that pack
Right.
was just a grind because when it came to the mental game, you can't let the guys get away from you. Otherwise, it breaks you mentally.
Yes, sir.
And so trying to close that gap mentally and getting into the mix early and not letting it go is a crucial part. Just people underestimate how much of a mental game cross country can be.
Yes.
And then it plays into track. And for track, it's not as much, I guess.
Right.
Because I think there's, like in my mind, you can break the race up. It's predictable in track. In cross country, it's completely unknown until
Right.
the day of the race, in the moment where you have to make those decisive decisions.
Right. Awesome. Are there, let's say soccer, are there any drills that you swear by that you know are getting you better each time you do it?
I think I would say when it comes, I think anything footwork and getting just keeping the ball close to you
Yes.
and getting familiar with the ball.
Yes.
I think that is a great skill to keep on you, because that's,
Yes.
I mean, when you look from the difference between a high schooler and then come to a pro, like the progression,
Right.
the amount of time and the amount of touches they get on the ball is
Yes.
so crucial. Like
Yes.
I know people personally who exceed at soccer and who are really, really talented in what they do.
Right.
And part of that is credited to just how much time they just spend on the ball and getting touches. And
Right.
it's like in basketball, you go out and
Yes.
and like I played basketball up until about, I think 7th grade was my last year playing basketball. But
Right.
just the amount of times that you're going to put in hundreds of shots.
Yes.
It's the same thing with soccer, is keeping that ball. You got to keep it on a string. And so
Yes.
developing that touch is so important.
Yes. You said a key word there, keeping it on a string.
Yes.
That's what I tell all the athletes, like the basketball players that I train, like don't worry about shooting, just dribble. The more comfortable you are with the ball, the better shooter you're going to be, which same thing with soccer. The more touches you get, then the more you're going to have, just because you're familiar with how and what to do. So definitely. So how do you stay motivated during the training days after a bad run or a bad game?
That's something that definitely I get. I'm hard on myself usually. I have really struggled with giving myself a bunch of grace when it comes to that area because I'm such a critique.
Yes.
And I think one thing that I've had to learn is that you're human. You gotta, and whenever there's the bad races, just because you had a bad race doesn't mean you're any less fit than you were before the race.
Yes.
And it's just then, like, once you have that bad race, what do you do with it? And one thing that I've had to learn is you evaluate, and then you have to focus on that for the next one.
Yes.
And it's just a constant. We're gonna see what happens, and then we're gonna evaluate, and we're gonna move on.
Yes.
And not second guessing, and not hesitating, and letting that affect how you run the next one, because then you're just pulling yourself down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well said. Well said. You know, that's something that I feel everyone battles with, you know, some more than others. And, you know, it's almost a perfectionist type mentality. Even, you know, you have to tell yourself there's no such thing as perfection, but you want it to be how you want it to be. You know what I mean? So
I think the biggest thing is like the motivation is when you have a bad race, the motivation is like, you want that back, and you're going to go after it again, and you're going to keep doing it again, because whether it's that you had an expectation you didn't meet, or I think that's just the mental thing about running. It's just like knowing that it's never a good thing whenever you finish and you're like, I should have done this, or I could have done this and I didn't. And it's just that, and part of that isn't great, because then you're like, oh, I left something on the table. And but you've got to show yourself some grace, because if everything was perfect in your race, then you might as well be Jakob Ingebrigtsen or Josh Kerr or Cole Hawker, like any of those top elite guys, like you would be up there. But you're human, you got to work through it over time. It's not an overnight thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So how do you balance school and sports?
I think, for me, I've been exhausted from school because it's, going from ninth grade to 10th grade, there was maybe 8th and 9th grade, but from 9th to 10th grade, for sure, there was a jump in work. And so I usually don't have much homework, but it's usually because, like, from bell to bell, I'm stressing myself out so much just to get it done. And stay on top of that. So I think it's just a grind. That's part of being in the sports in the high school world, is having to deal with the work and simultaneously training. And it's not pleasant, but it's something that's got to happen. You know, I just want to tell you, enjoy the moment, you know, because you'll look back, you know, 10, and I'm sure you've heard this, 20 years, and, you know, you'll be like, wow. So, you know, don't stress about it. Enjoy these moments. Smile, be happy about them, you know, because you still have so much more life to live. And I can tell you're a wonderful young man who's going to give so much back, you know. So all in all, and what I know and what I've done, like, I know you're going to be great. So anytime you do, you know, stress about it, just breathe in and know everything's going to be okay. And, you know, don't stress yourself about it. And that's easier said than done, because I'm sitting here telling you that when there are things that I do, but it's like I have to remind myself, hey, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think the biggest thing, like, when it comes to motivation to just get through that grind, I constantly have all my spikes that I've worn since we were thinking about it. I've worn them since 7th grade track season.
Nice.
Well, for cross country sake, all my spikes I have 2 Bible verses, one on each one. And the first one, 2 Thessalonians 3:5, is, may the Lord direct your hearts to God's love and Christ's endurance. And that first of all, like setting your eyes on like what's the ultimate goal.
Right.
And then the second verse that I have on there is Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do in working in or in deed, do everything unto the Lord and not for man. 3:23 or 3:17, when they're both in the same message, that just like why are we ultimately here? It's
Right.
because of a blessing that for Jesus Christ, from Jesus Christ, that he died on the cross for our sins, and that it's a blessing that I can sit here today
Yes, sir.
and continue
sir.
to draw breath, and that like why not keep living for
Right.
that? And like
Right.
that's the ultimate goal, is that it's not even if it's not just for me, like it's reflecting his light to
Right.
others. And then I also know that there are other people watching me. And so if I'm going around and being lazy with it or being frustrated about it, what kind of light does that not only shed on myself, but also on on what I believe, and
Yes, sir.
and how people look at Christianity and my faith.
Right.
And so I'm an ambassador for Christ.
Yes,
That's
sir.
how Paul would put it.
Yes, sir.
And so I
Talk
need to,
it.
I need to, I need
Talk
to, I need to represent him in the right way, and
Yes,
not
sir.
just myself, but also for my family, and
Yes,
for
sir.
not just on this earth, but also for others.
Yes, sir. Very well said, young man. That's very well said. You have a head on your shoulders.
It's not my word; it's
Yeah,
only his.
yeah. But do you and Jaden, do y'all hang out?
Oh yeah, we're. I
Okay.
mean, we're in the same youth group.
Okay,
so.
yeah. Well, I can tell. Like, definitely. I wanted to, commend you. Definitely for, your verse, and just knowing, what it is in this life, especially at your age. Because that could be a very tricky time in high school when things are array, but you have them all mapped out and know what you're gonna do. Do you know what you plan to major in college?
I've thought about it a little bit, but I don't really have anything specific.
Yep, definitely. No rush on that as well. Do you have any tips for other student athletes trying to manage everything?
I think get your priorities straight. I mean, and anything I say when it comes to this spot, I know I struggle, like, just disclaimer, like I struggle with that
Right.
just as much as anybody
Right,
else.
right.
I'm human. But I think the difference is I know where my anchor is.
Right.
And I know that, I think when it comes, I mean, to priorities, faith, family, friends, and I mean, whatever, like first we ultimately submit to God, and then it's how does it affect my family, and then to my friends. And so when it comes to balancing those, what's going to bring him glory, and then what's going to what's going to affect my family and then friends, and that can be on the same level,
Right.
just depending on the situation.
Right.
But having your priority straight is such a crucial thing, as I've had to learn that so much recently,
Right.
and so much over the past. But I just know that whenever that even those circumstances are going to change. Like
Right.
I was just talking to my parents about this last night. Even though circumstances change, like the one constant that we all have to keep our eyes on is that God is good. And even if it doesn't seem like it in the moment,
Right.
that still doesn't change.
Right.
Based on my circumstances.
Yes.
He's always good.
Yes.
And that he's faithful, and and that if you keep your eyes on him, he's going to pull you through it. Maybe not how you envision it,
Come on.
but he's still going to do it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Most definitely. Is there a teacher at your school who's made a big impact on you? Teacher or coach?
Actually, I was listening to the episode that you did with Jaden yesterday.
Okay.
Just listening to the questions you're giving him, and that was one of the questions that got me thinking.
Right.
I think one of the biggest ones that one of the teachers that I think has impacted my life a lot,
Right.
is Coach Stiles, Ben
Okay.
Stiles.
Okay.
I haven't had him as a teacher, but
Okay.
he was my junior high track coach, eighth and ninth grade year, and on the track he was always an encouragement.
Right.
He was real with me sometimes.
Right.
He was real with all of us.
Right.
but I think that's one thing that I admire about him is that he wasn't going to sugarcoat it.
Yes.
But then I also see that, but then also off the track, he goes to our church and he's had a impact on my life as a spiritual leader and directing both me and my teammates' eyes on what it means to be a leader on the team.
Nice.
And just and what it means to impact others as Christ would
Right.
within our respective sports and
Right.
like off the court or the track or the course or whatever it is.
Right. Right. I like that. Coach Styles doing an awesome job, man. I think more coaches like that should be, the ones that should be talked about and boasted about, instead of the wins and this and that. Because when you're a coach, yeah, the wins matter. I get it, but how many lives are you changing?
And I think and just a disclaimer there's a bunch of other coaches
Right.
that I can think of off
Right.
the top of my head. So
Right.
sorry if I'm missing y'all. But that's one of the ones that I know there was a lot of growing in
Right.
that season of 8th and 9th grade year. And there was a lot of growth in not just track in that sport. There was a lot of growth in that time in my life. And that's something that I can look back on in an instance of where God has been good. And I can look back on that, and he pulled me through that, and I know he's gonna pull me through in the future.
Yes, sir. Most definitely. What's it like playing in this community?
I think there's a different landscape with each sport.
Right.
They're within the track and cross country community, if you will, in the Rootford Valley. It's got a little bit to go.
Right.
It's got a little ways to go.
Right.
I think it's, for me on the team at Russellville, it's a position where I can help. It's an opportunity to be able to build up the team. I know there's a handful of guys that I go to youth group with that
Right.
are also on that team that are
Right.
leaders. And there's an opportunity that I think has really grown, that we've been able to build up some younger guys, and hopefully that comes to fruition in a couple of years.
Yes.
But when it comes to the community of running Russellville, and there's a little ways to go. I
Right.
think there's, when you look around the state, there's a lot of other places that are moving along.
Right.
Bentonville, Shiloh Christian, Fayetteville,
Yes.
Springdale, Rogers, that whole area. So there's a little bit of a disadvantage here because up there they have meets every other week in the track season. They're racing against the same competition. I mean, Bentonville just qualified to go to Nike Cross Country Nationals. There's a little bit of gap, but for what competition we get down here, I think there's we're making steps to be able to regain our footing up there.
Right.
There's a little bit of a disadvantage down here
Right.
but I think there is hope
Right.
for us to be able to build a team up. I really
Right.
see there's some opportunity and there's some great chance for I'm looking for a word, it won't come to mind, but
Right.
there's some growth that I think can happen that can really upscale the team right now.
Yes,
When it
sir.
comes to, because competing in the 5A
Right.
is right now it's pretty open, because Mountain Home, have been dominant for the past couple of years, but they lost 9 seniors this year on their team, and so that they won state this year by a substantial amount,
Right.
and then they lost most of their top guys.
Right.
So now it leaves the throne open. And
Yes.
so in the 5A, I think there's some growth that Russellville can make. It's just deciding to make it in the summer
Right.
and in the hard months of mileage, and not just the racing season.
Right.
Because that's where, when you lay a foundation in the summer
Right.
and getting those miles in and doing the hard work and the
Yes.
dirty work, then that's where it comes to fruition later. And
Yes.
that's what I think the motivation is in the summer.
Yeah, you get in what you put out, and energy doesn't lie. Energy never lies. Who's someone on your team that doesn't get enough credit on the cross country team?
Man, there's been some guys this season that I could just talk about so much. I think off the top of my head,
And you can name more than one if you want.
I think one guy that's made leaps is Jeremy Amaya.
Okay.
Jeremy, he has worked his tail off this season. There has been, for him, it's kind of a harder position. We've had a couple guys that have kind of all been together, and we had 2 leave the team this year for other reasons. And so for him to take that torch and to pull those guys along, he's really working along, and he really increased. He went from being in the high 18s down to the low 18s, trying to break 18 minutes in the 5K. That was a guy we needed to step up, and he was filling that position by the end of the season.
Awesome.
And then another one that's just been a really consistent guy is Jackson Smith. He has worked so much.
Okay. Shout out Jack.
Jackson.
Yeah, I call him Jack. I used to train him, so I just call him Jack. What up, Jackson Smith? No doubt.
Yeah, there's many names he's gotten from the team. But I mean, for me, but part of his personality, I've called him the silent assassin. That is just he gets his head down, he works, and he works, and he works.
Yes.
And I think another guy that really has come along to fill that leadership role is Jake Linton. I think those guys, have been some guys that we've band together and been just brothers through this, and we've been able, and there's a bunch of guys that have been able to come along with it.
Okay.
So many younger guys. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of them that I could talk about, but just for the sake of time, all those guys have come together, and I think that's where the opportunity lies. It's now harvesting that and transitioning that into, let's get a team together, let's put in the miles, let's put in the work, and let's go after a state championship. I mean, the girls team at Russellville has in the past 3 years has gotten runner up, and state champion for our classification. But the guys have really struggled, and so this year I know all those guys in the same mind were seeing those trophies, and we're we want that.
Yes.
We want to go after that, and so that's just, I think, a fire that I think if we can tame that, we can really grow that to be something in future years.
Yes, sir. What is your short-term, and long-term goal for cross country? What's a short-term goal?
I think a short-term goal, just in high school, I think team-wise is, again, going back to just harvesting that opportunity and that talent. We have some young talent, and harvesting that to come to fruition when it comes to a state championship.
Right.
I think getting to that, I think putting ourselves in that position is the first, growing that, the mileage and getting the training in. I think that's the first step.
Yes.
As a goal to be able to finish on the podium at some point. Sir. I think personally, there's a lot of competition. I think there's going to be some team changes and some realignment within the conference classification that could shake things up in future years. But I know it's been a goal. After this year, I really want to go after a state title. And in the short-term cross-country perspective, it hasn't been my strong suit, but I really, this season, have wanted to go after it.
Okay.
When it comes to, I think with track, it's more the same mind of I want to go after an individual title, whether that be the mile or the 800.
Right.
But then long term, I think I'm not really sure where all that lies.
Right.
I know that there's opportunity, but I think it's just kind of taking it in the now and seeing what comes later. I would hope to run in college, go somewhere, nice school, get an education.
Right.
I don't know how far running can take me at the moment. So.
Right. Awesome. Do you watch any is there any pro runners or pro athletes that you look up to right now?
Um, I know. I guess it's hard for running is not as high profile of a
Right.
sport as some of the other ones.
Right.
I do know. I would say an athlete just in general that I really look up to is Tim Tebow. That is
Right.
he is a solid guy. Like I don't play football, but
Right. Right.
I love watching football.
Right.
It's kind of hard right now as an Arkansas fan.
Oh man, no doubt.
and sorry for but the Russellville Cyclones are hard to watch at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
But aside from that, like Tim Tebow, great guy. Like I've like just taken one of my favorite quotes is hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Right.
I know that that wasn't his quote, but
Right.
he's said that multiple times,
Right.
and that I really like. That is a awesome quote to me. That
Yes.
is very motivating. Yes. But I also know that like on a running level, it may not sound
Right.
as much as sense to you, I guess. But there's a guy named Parker Wolf. He ran at the University of North Carolina this past year. I know for me, it's been a little bit of an insecurity being a smaller guy, smaller stature on the running level. Just looking at so many guys in basketball, like if you're shorter, there's different games that takes up between a center and a point guard.
Right.
And running, it's a lot of like you got taller, lankier guys versus the like smaller, they're going to be smaller stride guys.
Right.
And so learning how to work with those things is part of the sport. And so he's smaller guy, runs for North Carolina, but he wasn't expected to do much like at the Olympic trials for the U.S. And he went out and placed second or third in the race. And he's just a gutsy runner and really puts it out there and lays it out there. And it's so fun watching him and his teammate Ethan Strand. Like those two guys just go after it in their meets. They're graduated now, but those are two guys that are so fun to watch, and they train together and just their style of running. I think it's fun.
Okay, nice. What would it mean to you to represent this community at the next level?
I think it would be. I think it would have. It would definitely have a sense of some pride, I guess, just in seeing, being able to look back on that's my hometown. Like not many people. It's not a usual opportunity. We're not Texas or anything like that.
Right.
But I think it's more. I think it's more of a motivation to me to represent my faith and my family and my roots. I think like the city of Russellville is one thing, but I think more just standing on my faith is more of a thing to represent than than where I came from.
Yes, sir.
I think it's more the state of Arkansas because that's not as much on the map as other places.
Right. Yes, sir. So quick lightning round. Do you have a favorite pregame meal?
Not pre-race. I don't eat much pre-race.
Okay.
I would say the night before though, I love Alfredo.
Okay.
Whether I'd probably do sausage and bacon Alfredo.
Okay. Nice. Do you have a favorite song that you run to? Do you wear headphones when you run?
I do a little bit.
Okay.
Sometimes I've grown into loving not wearing anything, going out in the early mornings before school and just spending time praying. And like that's kind of my time to get away with the Lord and being able to go to him in prayer and be able to just have a conversation, I guess.
Definitely.
But when it comes to listening to music, I wouldn't say a favorite song.
Right.
But I would say favorite artist, probably Phil Wickham.
Okay.
I really love his songs.
Okay.
And then, I mean, just I have some albums on my phone that I listen to, but really just in that Christian realm. I think that's kind of, I don't really listen to much secular music just because in my mind there's not much sense to it, I guess.
Right. Yep, 100%. Do you have a hype ritual or pre-race ritual that you do?
I had a specific album of just comprised songs that I just listen to sometimes.
Yeah.
In a warm, like when I'm going, when it's a track meet, usually I just go like I'll leave the stadium for a little bit just to go on my jog around a neighborhood
Right.
nearby or something, and just getting away from all of the crazy, chaotic stuff and just listening to music just kind of gets me in the zone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely, definitely. So we're going into the final thoughts here. What advice would you give younger athletes just starting out that are thinking about running?
I think don't stress yourself out on being like so focused on one thing.
Right.
Establishing like just being able to try things out is so important. I think you look at the best athletes out there, like multiple sports, like
Right.
that's such a just for coordination, mentally, physically growing, just on all the different levels. I think it's just it doesn't make any sense to me why you would hone in so early on something,
Right.
when there's so much opportunity. I mean, growing up till about fifth grade, I played baseball, basketball, soccer, and I wasn't running at that point, but I was playing baseball, basketball, soccer, and I quit baseball and then it was basketball, and I kind of started losing some of the sports I got to do.
Right.
But I think it's fun to be able to try different things out,
Right.
and that's something that kids should be able to do.
Right. So what do you want people to remember you both running and when you're not running?
Um, I would think when it comes to running, I feel like um, I think a word comes to mind is passion, passionate. Um, that I wasn't gonna be lackadaisical about
Right.
it or laid back about it. Like I want to put forth my best effort, not just for myself, but for my family, my faith, my community, like those um, different things. And then I think off the field, like on and off the field, I think it needs to be like a root of leadership and faith.
Right.
I mean, that's what we're commanded to do is be lights in the darkness. And so, as long as like the number one goal should be shedding Christ's light to others and being that light, bringing them to the Lord. And so, using our platform and whatever God's given us to bring Him the glory.
Yes, sir. Awesome. Awesome. How can the community support you and other athletes on your cross country team? Do y'all have a social media handle? Do you have a social media handle? You don't have to give it out.
One thing that I don't do much of that I really don't, that a lot of people are big on, like I don't have social media.
Right.
I don't have access. Like I don't have it on my phone. I don't have any platforms.
Right.
And I don't do anything like that.
Right. Nothing wrong with that at all.
I mean, to me, I don't see any point in it. Like I've gotten this far in my life and I've been able to live without it. Like, I don't really need much of it. But then I also know that, when it comes to supporting the community, I mean, I don't know, because many people don't run. I would think just supporting and it coming out to the races that we do have here. I mean, they're few, but they're not as many as the football games or anything like that. But I think it's a fun atmosphere that a lot of people don't ever get the chance to see or experience. Going out to a cross country meet out at ATU whenever we have those, or when we have a color run or something like that. Like those, it's something that people like. Even before I got into running, when I was coming to watch my friends who were in the grade ahead of me run, like I was like, dang, I didn't really know about this. Like I didn't know cross country was like this, and it's just a fun atmosphere to be around.
I've seen people post videos on social media, and that was my first thought. Like, wow, this is actually more than what I thought it was. So yeah, y'all heard him. If you get a chance, go out and support Russellville cross country team at their meets. It'll probably be in 2026.
Yes, probably cross country season's over now.
Cross country season is over, so 2026. Be looking for that. Do you have any final thoughts or any words that you want to end on?
I think on that note, I think when it comes to coming out for the meets, if you don't really aren't connected to the sport, I mean, just finding. I know there are people out there that are connected to it.
Right.
And so finding friends that may or may not be on the team, I think that's bringing, like, that's what families come to, and just like just expanding whoever wants to come out. But no, I think that's really it. I feel like we covered much.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. This has been the Coach's Corner. I'm Quinton Collins. He's Carson Walker.
Yes, sir.
Great young man. Great interview. Definitely level-headed. Is going to be going places for sure. So thank you again for coming out to talk.
Thanks
and
for having
until
me.
next time, I'll see y'all.